We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
I'm Jill DeWitt, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 1955, and today we are talking about how not every, but maybe any land deals go as planned. What goes as planned in your life?
Right.
You never think so. Later in the episode, we'll talk about when and where it's appropriate to build a buyer's list and when it's not for land.
Exactly. I have a lot of experience here. That's probably why you're listening. Do you know what's great? We're going on, this is going to be, well, heck. Next year will definitely, will it be 10 years? I'm trying to think. When did we start the podcast? I have to go back and look. But I mean, quickly, we're going to be rolling on 10 years of this podcast and 10 years of Land Academy, which is amazing. My point in saying that is because we speak of what we know. And then the years before Land Academy, holy moly, there's 15 or so years of you doing this business before we even did Land Academy.
Yeah. We have the experience, is what she's saying. You can see all this gray hair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this didn't just happen since we started the podcast or since I came along. Since I came into the picture, more importantly, I didn't do that. Yeah.
Each week on the show, we answer questions from our Land Academy member Discord forum. We review land acquisitions from our weekly member webinars. And we take a deep dive into 2 land-related topics by request, which I just read. If you want a sneak peek of our Discord forum, go to thelandacademy.com. It's free.
And by the way, if you would like us to answer your question, they are rolling in now too, by the way, so cheers to you guys. Or you just want some help getting involved with our community, all you have to do is text us at 480-530-7383. We do read all the texts, and your question just might be answered here on our next podcast.
Hey, before we actually answer this question, Jill's going to read a success story from Discord.
Cool. So we closed on a 2-acre property at the end of April for $7,700. Had our drone guy and signs out a few days later. Hadn't even gotten the property listed with a realtor before we had a call and had a full price offer. 2 weeks later, closed for $30,000. This will never
That's how you do it.
old. I love it.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yay.
So you netted,
what was the purchase
after
price?
fees, probably $8,000. She said 77.
Oh, 77. When she didn't even get the realtor.
Right.
That's even better.
So you made $20,000. You do that once a month. You're going to make $250,000 a year.
There you go.
That's why we're here.
I know. All right. So here's the deal. So we got this message in from Jack. He wrote, on a recent 4,000 piece mailer I sent through offers to owners, 3,000 units went to one county and 1,000 units went to another county. I've received multiple calls from the 3,000 unit mailer, but 0 from the 1,000 mailer county. Seems odd that I wouldn't receive a single response from that county. Could it be something I did wrong?
No, and it's very... Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, I'm just thinking it's time. By the time this is aired, you probably got calls from it.
So that's my answer too. So it's very common and to really wonder, what did I do based on certain responses? But in the end, if you just wait maybe 2 days, it'll all start rolling in.
Mm-hmm. That used to happen all the time on our weekly Thursday calls. We were like, I think I did something wrong. I don't think the mail hit, and then the next day they're like, oops, never mind, my bad. Here they came. It's like always at the very last minute, you think you're like too much time has passed and then it hits.
This shows me you want to do it right. So congratulations. You care.
Well, and I love I'm hoping you're like got 3,000 to an area that you know, right? And while you're looking at other areas to branch out into.
Yep. Today's first topic is not every or maybe any land deals go as planned. This topic was generated from a detailed discussion that Jill and I had in our last session with Career Path. Mm-hmm. Career Path is this thing Jill and I instruct where there's a handful of people that get access to Jill and I for 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. And we in depth take a look at everybody's situation and how to help them in their land business.
It's our highest level of personalized coaching, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really what it is.
And so I think it's very natural. It's very natural for the personality type that I have to want to put everything into a box, into a spreadsheet, let's say, and quantify it. And then it's in accounting, we call it budget to actual. So I want to budget everything out, and then I want to put line right next to it what's going to happen. That's the actual, and then look at the variance. And I tell you, as much as I want to do that with a real estate deal, it's just not how it goes.
That's very, very insightful of you to have that much, know that much about yourself and to openly share that. So I appreciate that. That's not how I do things at all. This does not bother me at all. I know this bothers you. You would love to know exactly it's going to be bought here, sold here, this much times 10.
Yep.
But it doesn't go like that.
Buy a donut, you're done.
Right.
Jill's, through her credit, just wakes up and she's just going to see what happens. So, I'm pretty good at sending the mail out, making her phone ring. And then she's just fearless. She really, she just rolls with whatever happens in a real estate deal and she gets it done. She gets it across the finish line.
It's funny. I can wake up though. I can wake up and go, okay, I'm going to buy one of these 3 properties I've been looking at today, whatever it is. Like say I'm working with a seller and we're not on the same page. I'm like, or I'll even say all 3. All 3 of these guys don't realize it, but we're going to get a deal done today. Yep. And I will not stop until I make that happen.
But I do think it's really, you're going to hurt yourself if you go into this thinking that you can put it into a box and then repeat the box. True. And then continue forward and just over and over and over. That's what manufacturing is. True. Or how I perceive manufacturing. I was involved in manufacturing a long, long time ago as a teenager in my early 20s in the Midwest. And I just watched this happen. So as an outsider watching somebody stamp out a part or machine a part, especially on a computerized lathe or something like that, where the raw material costs $3 and the stainless steel part that's getting machined, they ordered 16,000 of them to go in some car somewhere, 16 million in some cases, and you're making $150 on it. It's like, that's an accountant's dream.
Right.
Real estate deals could not be further from that situation.
Right.
They're all different. You have to completely pay attention. Stuff's going to change and happen all the time. There's people involved.
True.
When a machine's stamping or lathing something out, there's no people involved in that.
It's funny. At least our deals, there's not as many people involved as there could be. We don't have lenders involved and inspectors involved and fill in the blank involved. That's nice. But yeah, you're right. You have to roll with it. Every day is kind of different. You don't even know how many calls you're going to get back. You think people talk about, we joke, not joke about it, but mailer yield comes up and keep telling everybody don't think about mailer yield, think about getting 1. If you think of a low number for mailer yield and you get something really good out of it that pays for your mailer, that's positive mailer yield. So let's not think about that. But you can't really accurately say, all right, I know I'm going to get these 4, 8, 10 deals out of every mailer. Mm-hmm. And even in escrow, things happen. Yep. I'm just thinking about that too. It's not a high percentage, but I'm going to say at least, a couple out of 100, that something goes wrong. And maybe it's even me. Maybe it's not even things not going as planned might not even be there was a problem with the property. It could be I changed my mind. Yep. Now I just, I'm not loving this like I thought I was, and now I don't want to do it. So
I tend to associate risk with variables. So the more variables that there are in any situation or any business situation specifically, the more risk there's going to be. And so when I look at the risk involved in buying a piece of land, we have control over who gets an offer from us. We have control over how much we offer. And we have control over the number of offers that we send out. Total control. So if I send out 10,000 offers at 20% of retail value, we're going to get some response back. We're going to get a predictable response back. I don't know the exact numbers. And then I know from experience, because my business partner has historically closed 2 to 5 deals in that situation. And we have control over what we pay for those deals, complete control. And so with our experience, we don't pay too much. So, that's the good news. The bad news is, these deals, all land deals, there's variables. Variables become, after you sign the agreement, then you send it to escrow and you start to find out, maybe there's some back taxes. Yeah, I can live with that variable. Or if I can't, then I adjust the purchase price. Oh, well, if it turns out one of these people that's on the deed, they passed away 3 years ago, I can deal with that variable. It's not something we've dealt with the entire time. There's a couple of flaws in the piece of dirt that, like maybe it doesn't have access, or it has limited access, or we have to go do some stuff to get access. I accept those variables and I adjust the price accordingly. So that's the good news. The fact that these land deals never go as planned, it keeps a ton of people out of this business. There's millions of real estate agents in this country. How many manufacturing companies are there? Geez, I bet millions. How many people buy and sell land like this?
Right. I was just thinking about when we were thinking of this topic, there was one property and one transaction that kind of prompted this for me, because it didn't go as planned. We all went into it. There were first of all, too many of us involved in this transaction, because it was a high dollar amount. So there were a few of us that all pitched in to take down this deal. It took way too long. It sold for much less than, we still 3 times our money, right? So it's not like we're all hurting, not crying poor here, and made a mistake, but it didn't go as planned. We're like, oh man, God, it took too long. How many agents did we have involved? How many times we have to talk about it? How many hurdles did our buyers have to, perceivably in their heads overcome? And then we had to talk them through. It just was a pain.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
Because this is not a negative topic, although it was written that way. Whoever wrote this topic is a pretty negative person.
I wonder who that was.
As a percentage, if you somebody signs and sends your agreement back, or they call you and say, I want to do the deal, what's the next step? And you look at the deal and you agree in the first 30 seconds that you look at it,
right,
that you want to do the deal. As a percentage, how many after that point, that light bulb point, do you think just don't go as planned? To get them closed, I mean on the acquisition side, not on the sale side.
On the acquisition side is planned. Acquisition side as planned, 85%.
I was going to say 90, but
I was going to say 92, but I was being conservative.
85, 90%. You buy the property
on the acquisition side, because I'm the one that's controlling that.
From the moment you own it, that's light bulb moment. You own it.
This is a good point.
When as a percentage, how many are that don't go as planned on the sell side?
This is where it all goes sideways.
Really?
Well, I'm going to say that do not go as planned.
Or how many go as planned? Like, hey, I bought this thing for 30 and I know it's worth 60 or 70 and I sold it pretty quickly.
Okay. So I'm going to say 75% go as planned.
I was going to say 85, 90.
I'm feeling pretty good about that. Because I already have a number. Like, I know that, this is where you taught me this. I love it at this. I'll take this. I love it at this. I can do this, and I'll settle for this.
How many times have you lost money on a real estate deal? That's really doesn't go as planned. That's my definition of, wait a minute. I really missed something.
I got one 2 years ago. I think I broke even. I can't remember, but it was really close.
Deal.
I know.
This is the point I'm trying to drive home. Jess, stuff goes sideways. You make sure that you get the deal back on track. You're the deal maker. So I think this is great news. It keeps a tremendous amount of people out of the business. Really, really low startup costs. And you go into it with the right attitude, and I'm going to fix this no matter what goes on, kind of entrepreneurial spirit. You're going to get out of it just fine. Worst thing that happens is you do a price reduction and you don't make as much money as you thought.
There you go. That's it. That's what I was gonna. I'm gonna go look that up. I think I'm gonna make a little separate thing about that. That was Lancaster, California.
Yep, I know exactly which deal you're talking about.
Like what a dumb.
I approved that deal personally because it was in LA County.
Well, we knew that guy.
If it was one county over, which then the county line was like 500 yards from that property. If it was in, I think, San Bernardino or Riverside County, I would have not done it. But for whatever reason, it was in LA County. It was super cheap, and I made a mistake.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
We still got out of it.
Who cares? It's funny.
Hey, if you have the right attitude and the right entrepreneurial spirit, you're going to smash this. And most of you are, who are in Land Academy already.
You know what? That's the whole point here.
Yep.
That's really good. If you can roll with these punches,
yep.
That's why people who come to us that have deal experience or even owning a business experience, you know how to roll with the punches and not give up and just say, well, we're closing up shop. Yeah. And, kind of.
This thing doesn't work. No, It works.
It does. You got to stay with it.
You already know that because you're successful at other stuff. Let's take a look at one of our favorite land acquisitions from our weekly Thursday member webinar.
Would you do this deal? Riverside County, California, 2.3 acres. All right. Has a well and utilities, no HOA. Has existing and inhabitable single wide mobile, as well as buildings and some improvements. Thinks it would sell fast for 140 as is. Purchase price 93. Okay, buy for 93, sell for 140. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay, you're going to probably be able to pull this up too, which is great.
388. So they say. It's the same property, yeah.
Can you give me some of that? We scroll down to the numbers and show what the old numbers are, because I want to see what was ever listed and all that too. So they paid 10,010, and then they sold it for 20. And then they put the thing on it. 10 sold for 20 in 2010. They've got an old 1975 thing on there. We want to buy it for 90 something now. I got to think about this for a second.
Put that on there. I think it was there.
It looks like there's about 90,000 worth of junk on it.
That could be where they're going with it.
Well, if this is installed in 1975, it is grandfathered in that California rule for a scrape.
So it depends on it. If it's an old classic car under a tarp.
Oh,
maybe.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I disagree. I think this is probably a smoking deal.
Okay. Thank you. We got the high. Okay.
Across the street, we'll do the same thing. Because this passes access, it passes attribute, and it passes adjacent.
Okay.
I wouldn't let this go.
Nothing that cheap on the market that what I can see. It's pre-HUD, but they lend on them now. Way out between Temecula and Palm Desert. Yep. Someone's living in it. Oh, and they say I could check it out.
So
all right.
If you're up for a ride and you're close, I'd look at it.
Yeah.
It's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Just you have to see how dumpy it is and just get a feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know if these kind of spreads are selling.
Actually, 2.5 acres. I mean, let's come on, 2.5 acres and it's under $100,000, and you could put your head there.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to hear our whole story, go to landacademy.com and download the ebook. It's free. It tells, starting from the early 90s when I was buying and selling long-term care facilities, all the way up to right now. And the things that we went through and the tools that we didn't have back then. We didn't have, Google Earth. Jill and I had an amazingly difficult time trying to find property just based on a legal description. It wasn't difficult. It was just really time consuming because there was no tool online that you could go type in an assessor's parcel number and find it. So we've since then created those products, most of them, and bought our own printing company so that we wouldn't have to deal with a lot of that. So you get all of that. It's a good story, and it's a real easy read, and it doesn't cost anything. Check it out at landacademy.com and look at the ebook.
Thank you. That was great. Let's
take another question posted by our members on the Land Academy Discord online community. Again, if you want to sneak peek at it, go to landacademy.com. It's free.
Okay. Patricia wrote, "Hi guys. I recently joined Land Academy in April. Yay, congrats. Although I've been buying and selling land for the past 2 years, I've just now been able to take this on since my wealth has grown over the past 2 years as a result of my land flipping. So I'm listening to the education sections, which we can always benefit from, whether learned or need to be learned. And they talk about Title Mind and info reports, but neither are available any longer. Sounds like great programs. What do you use in place of Title Mind and info reports?
So I'll tell you a story about Jill and I. And Jill and I decided to, from the moment that we released the program to the public, the Land Academy program, it took us about a year to put together part-time. From the moment we released it, what we learned, and I was shocked about this, I don't know if you were, but we learned that our members wanted more tools. They wanted more programs, more access to people like us that have done a bunch of deals, and more tools. So one by one, upon our members' requests, Jill and I rolled out tools. Some of them survived and thrived, like Offer Owners and ParcelFact.com. Geez, those are thriving financially. They're thriving, and everybody loves them. You know, they all rave about it. So both members and non-members. Some of them didn't work. Title Mind's a great example. So Title Mind is designed. You know, people were coming to us saying, "I bought this property in Tennessee. Can you guys close it? I can't find an escrow agent." And so we said, sure, we're going to open this thing called Title Mind. And what we ended up, it just got misused. And in many of these programs worked great. They just weren't used by our members the way that we intended them. And so they would give us all the deals that they couldn't close themselves, the real problematic ones, like people are dead and there's all kinds of medical liens and mechanical liens and real problematic properties. So we looked at each other and said, I just don't think this is worth it. They were deals that weren't, we knew this because we've done a million deals. These aren't deals that are going to close anyway.
Exactly.
There's not any title company or escrow company that's going to close it. So we said, it's just not worth it. And in the end, we're not doing anybody a favor. And nobody wants to hear, this is probably an unclosable transaction, or maybe it's closable, but
we're not the people that do it. We're not attorneys.
But financially, it's not going to matter. Buy for $5 and sell for $8, and it's going to cost you $9,000 for us by the time we get it closed. Right. So we decided not to do it. Infill reports. Where can you go get that? There's no replacement for good old fashioned. Get a local title company and find one you like. For Infill Reports was a partnership situation that Jill and I put together with a guy in Los Angeles, super, super nice guy who had tremendous talent for analyzing. An infill lot would come in and analyze it and say, what can you do with it? Does it have access? Yes. Can you put a mobile home on it? No. Can you put a house on it? Yes. What are the setbacks? And all the details, nitty-gritty details in Infill Reports. And again, by the time we got done with it, by the time we got done with a given info report, he did, and we put the time in, and all. We were charging $1,000, and that that price point did not work for most people.
Yeah, it was awesome product. I kind of miss it too.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what has worked, and people just want more, and we're giving them more, is advanced level education. And that's, I thought this would have been the exact opposite. Right. I thought everybody wants tools and nobody wants to talk anymore because that's who I am. That's not who most people are. Right. And so now we have Career Path, which is crazy successful. We do it 2 or 3 times a year, right? Depending on which year Jill feels like she wants to do 2 or 3.
Thanks.
We do now a program that we're going to release here in next week, actually, called Land Academy Pro, where you get access to the same people that do my mailers and the same people that close your deals, the very same exact people, the same database template that we use, the same everything. And so, we're going to see how everybody responds to the price point, but it's way cheaper than learning all this stuff yourself and hiring people. And you get access to the people that we've vetted for years and years and years. Yeah. We've already gotten a huge positive response to that. And Man Plan. What we've learned too is that not everybody joins Land Academy because they want to be a land investor. They just want to have access to some people that have figured out how to seemingly comfortably make a bunch of money in life and have a good relationship. So manplan.com, I anticipate and the price point there is going to be very, very, very low. So those are real positive things too. If we terminated a program, we terminated it because it just didn't work out for our members.
I'm gonna throw in there though. By the way, Title Mine is going to be. It's basically included in Land Academy Pro.
Right. Exactly.
That really, it's kind of
Title
funny.
Mine is
Title Mine is kind of coming back in a different way.
Yeah, that's a way to say it.
It is.
Great way to say it.
So yeah, really cool.
Today's second topic: when and when not to build a buyer's list.
So I was going to talk about this for a minute because can you scroll that up? It just helps me to see that. I did this, maybe not. Thank you. Back in the day. Okay, so I would have buyers call me. This was me personally taking the calls and selling our own property. And they were asking about certain properties and maybe that they loved everything about this one, but they wanted, instead of 5 acres, they wanted 20. Or they really hoped it was in closer to fill in the blank. And I thought, okay, hold on a moment. I'm clearly canvassing this area, right? I'm in this county, and even all over the country. You know, we've always and forever had mailers hitting different states, different sizes, different whatever. So I would say, look, I always have new stuff coming in anyway. I would do two things. One, I would help tell them, get on my buyer's list, which is on my website. I'll put their email on there so you get notified when I get things. Number two, I would try to kind of keep track of it and try to cue things up for them when I talk to them and they're like, I'm really serious. I just wish it was twice as big, fill in the blank. So I started making notes of this and like, okay, this guy, you know, especially people that were repeat buyers. This guy loves this guy wants these. And then I would go out and, you know, and keep my eye out for, you know, any 40 acre in this part of the state with this attribute and queue them up for them. It never worked out. Every time I'd say, hey, you gave me a list of criteria. Here it is. This is the one. I just got this in. It's going to fit your thing perfectly. And they'd be like, oh, I don't know. I don't like the way the sun bounces off the trees on that rock or something stupid. I'm like, what? Like they didn't feel it, or they would come up with some other thing. And I realized, what a waste of my time. So in the land world, this does not work. This is a huge waste of time. And I see people doing it all the time. It's so funny. I'm watching social media. They're like, hey, does anybody have any properties in fill in the blank county that are with a well between 5 and 10 acres? I've got a guy. I'm like, oh, this is funny. Mm-hmm. How much time is going to be wasted on that?
Well, now you're representing somebody else in the acquisition and potential sale of a property, which you need to be a licensed real estate agent for. It's totally different. But here's the thing, before Jill finishes, because she's got, I'm sure.
I was just going to wrap that up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then I'll pass it to you. So I see people doing it all the time. And I'm like, this is not what you should be spending your time on. I have other solutions and other ways to do it, and then go for it.
So I think that you can really quantify it like this. Mm-hmm. When people have, or your customers have really, really similar interests, then you can establish a list. And when you get a product in, like a piece of land or a certain gauge of stainless steel, whatever business you're in, then you can send out a list or send out a note and say, I got another one in, and all you guys wanted the last one. So whichever one of you want it, it's here. And so that's just not the case with land. What they're doing is dreaming. You know, you have an example like houses, buying houses that need to be renovated are a great example when you should establish a list.
That's different. So yeah, so here's the back to the land thing. When and when not to build a buyer's list for land? No bueno, don't do that. Don't go there. It's dumb. The only thing I would say is do collect emails. I think it's if you're selling your own property, it's really beneficial. And we've done this over the years. I mean, throughout the years, I should say. I still have it going on where I collect a buyer's list. And if I'm going to wholesale any property, I just send it out as a spreadsheet. State, county, APN. If I've got an attribute in there or something I need to tell them about the property, it's listed and my sales price. And it's a good sales price, not a make me move, not a retail dumb number, just because I'm reaching out to other professionals. That's a great thing. But again, I'm not building a list. I'm just like, I have emails collected that they have opted in to be and get notified, and they do get notified.
She's not servicing clients or customers.
Nah.
She's collecting a list and exposing people to
like
products.
Here, all the stuff I just got in.
Yeah.
If you want it, great. If you don't, fine.
Why? Because they have a similar interest, and they're not end users. These people, they're people who are going to resell it in somehow. Maybe it's on terms. Maybe it's for more, take a long time, 2 years to sell it for cash.
Now, the when to do this that I have been really successful is when we have done House Academy, and the way that we buy them and the way that we sell them to other wholesalers. Like, we're selling to someone who's going to pull the dumpster in the driveway, and they're going to do the renovation and all that good stuff. That's
the rehabber.
That's their game. When they find us or we connect basically, and I tell them, here's what I got, and it's gone. They're like, text me, please, when you get another one in this zip code. I'll take, because those guys are serious. Those guys really, and they mean it. I'll take any 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in this zip code, in this school zone, north of those railroad tracks. I'm with no pool and a garage. I'm buying it
for less than $200 a square foot or something.
And we
like
can
that.
do that. And I can buy it. I can queue it up like that. I can get that precise and really easy to do. That's a good buyer's list. And it's a short buyer's list. Usually it's like, I don't know, 10 people. And they all get an email. Something comes in. Not even an email. It's a text. I'll text. Actually, what I do, I'll tell you truthfully, this is House Academy. I text them, I email them, and I phone call them. I blast them 3 different ways. And it's like, hey, first come, first serve. And they know it. And they're like, can't wait to go, I'm driving there now, Jill. What's the lockbox code? All right, here you go. Let me know what you think.
Here's another circumstance that it really makes a lot of sense to build a buyer's list. We have a person in this most recent career path that stumbled across a specific use piece of property that is for a 15-unit apartment building, and it's right between 2 existing multi-unit buildings, two existing apartment buildings. And so it's very easy to accumulate, quick and easy to accumulate a list of all the people who own apartment buildings in that county, and just send them a note, send them a letter, or send them a text that says, I've got this property, and it's off market. And everybody loves off market property. We love off market property. We've made a career out of buying land that's off market, creating a real estate deal for ourselves where it's not a deal until we call them or send a note. So it's going to be very easy for her to establish that list. And then when talks to a few people, let's say there's 10 or 12 of them that respond. During that conversation, they're going to say, hey, if you ever come across any more multi-tenant land in these 8 counties, please call me first. And so it's real easy for her now then to send out a mailer in those 8 counties, a real small strategic surgical strike mailer, and expose these people that own these apartment buildings to those pieces of dirt. True. You got to be careful. It can backfire because it's what Jill said right from the beginning. Yeah, I don't like the way the sun shines on that one. And so, but let me wrap this up kind of with this topic with this. Our way's the right way. We've proven it. Buy a piece of land.
Tested it.
Yeah, you buy a piece of land as cheap as you possibly can, within reason, and then let the real estate agent that you choose go do his job. Let him get it on the MLS, make it look fantastic, put maps in there and all the features that it might have, water, all kinds of whatever, make it look as good as you can on the internet, and the right buyer will find it. It's way better. And then you don't have 2 or 3 or 4 jobs in life. You have one to find and purchase undervalued land.
That's it.
And then everybody else does all the work.
Exactly.
Let's take a look at another one of our favorite land acquisitions from our weekly Thursday member webinar.
Would you do this deal? Benton County, Washington. Accepted offer price, $60,000, which is a $15,000 reduction. All right, so Benton County, Washington, 60,000 thinks we could sell it for 332,000, 35 and a half acres. We have a notarized easement through the neighbor. for
Excellent. That was my
access.
first question.
Great. Neighboring fruit company bought several adjacent tracts at a high price. 30 minutes to Yakima and Tri-Cities. Plans for a 10-mile reservoir 2 miles away. Acreage in the area comps show $9,000 an acre. Power lines on the property run very few poles. There we go. Very communicative seller, shows well on photos. Wow. Presented last week and presenting again with more details. What did we like? Did we have questions about it last week that we now have the answers to? Wondering. Yes. Okay. What were we missing? Probably was access. I'm guessing it was access.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And you solved that one.
So we don't have any what they paid for it data. Here's a house on a very similar piece of dirt. $122,000 in 16, but I bet that same house is worth way more. 160.
Mhm.
So you're about to pay $60,000 for a larger piece of dirt that's adjacent. So
Mhm.
it just comes down to price.
Mhm.
Maybe put it under contract and just talk to the fruit company.
You know, my only question is how long it's time to sell is going to be my only question now. Because if I'm going to tie up 60 grand, I don't know if I necessarily want to tie it up for a year.
Or maybe just get a funding partner.
Yeah.
That's a logical funding. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 30 grand I can tie up for a while.
Right.
60 of my own money, I'm like,
And then you
yeah.
dissipate the risk too,
Mhm.
of something going wrong. These are sold properties. This is the 24. This is the 24. Right here is the property.
Okay.
It's nothing for sale.
How about in the last 6 months? Out of curiosity, is anything sold there?
For a tiny little lot, 10,000 square foot lot.
Oh, but it's everything. Is it everything or just land?
It's just,
Are we looking at just land? I don't know. Okay.
I think we're
Yeah.
2 for 2.
Yeah, that's my only concern is the time. So I just need to find out from a local guy, like
Exactly.
I need, I'm have a straight conversation, you
Yeah.
know, like, all right, even if it hurts, I want the truth. You know, what time frame do you think it would take you to sell this? Well, the last one out there, I knew a guy about 2 years ago, you know, I don't want to hear that. And that could be it. And then your next thing is, well, even if I price it at this, what do you think? Yeah, there's not a lot of people that go out there. You know, you just need to find that out. So, but that's my only thing. That's good.
Jill, you have something inspirational to share.
Yes. Today I'm going to talk about the top 3 traits that I've noticed in successful people. This is coming up because we are wrapping up. By the time this airs, will be our last career path for Group 6. As a matter of fact,
sure, yeah.
I'm just thinking about that, and that's going to be a little kind of sad. It's always sad when we say goodbye, but we don't all just go, well, see ya. You know, we all get together once a month, so we're not gone. But anyway, but we're not spending the same amount of time together as we are every week right now. So we have some really. Every group is different, and there's phenomenal people in every group. And there's often some that just stand out like, wow, that person is going to kill it. We know. And I was thinking about this individual. We've talked about her a bit. And I'm like, what is it about her that makes her special? And what can I share with everybody else so they, you know, are aware of this and can, you know, try to mirror this? One is no fear. If I tell her, here's what you should do. Call this person, find out this, and this, and this. She's immediately on the phone. It's not like having to gear up for it or having to think about it or wrap her head around it or whatever it is. It's like, okay, good, I'm doing it. And that kind of goes into number 2, which is she follows our advice without hesitation. She doesn't question it. She's like, I know you guys. Well, clearly, you know what it is? It's like, clearly you guys know what you're talking about. I'm going to, no fear, do what you tell me. And the third thing is she's constantly building. She's constantly pushing herself. She's constantly changing her deals. She's constantly sending more mail. She's constantly adding a 0. And I'm like, oh, our discussion the other day ended with, you realize we're not going to hear from her again. I said, yes, that's what happens. People people come into Land Academy and then they go into career path and they go off and become wildly successful, and then they go dark. They're like, I don't need you, stink, kind of thing. It's kind of funny, but it's good. It's positive, and we know that. It's like when your kids leave the nest and they're like, I got this, Mom. It's a positive thing. So
you're supposed to graduate from college.
You
too.
are.
Not just stay there.
Yeah, you are. So I just my main thing of all the 3 things that I would pick out as the top one: no fear, follow advice, and constant building. I'd say the number 1 for me is no fear. You just have to just do it. What would be your number 1 of those 3 things? What do you think is the top?
This is Tony Robbins has long said this is the number 1 reason why people don't reach their potential, and it's emotion. Because what she does and what you're describing is just mechanically get through it.
True.
I'm not going to sit around and worry about what the assessor thinks about me because I have a bunch of questions about a property in his county. I am going to listen to 2 people who have done 16,000 plus deals go out and talk to the other apartment building owners and, just mechanically do it. And you're going to do incredibly well. The people that I've seen that just do so well, they don't know when to quit. There's no off switch.
True.
They sleep however many hours they do, and then they get back up. They don't give themselves any reason or excuse to not get something done. My kids need me to do this. My husband wants me to make dinner. I've got to get a master's degree. I've successful people that I've been exposed to. I've never heard them. I don't think they're thinking about it, let alone say it. And so, where there's a will.
That's good. Good point. Thank you. Jack, do you have something manplanish, manplan.com-ish, I should say? That's a mouthful to share with us today.
Yeah, I've been running across people that have statistical obsession recently, and I'm very, very aware of what that's all about because I had it. And sometimes I still have it, where I look at it. I'm analyzing something. It's a version of analysis paralysis, but it's a little worse. Analysis paralysis you can get over, where you're just analyzing and analyzing and analyzing. Am I pricing this mailer right? What else can I be doing? Can I do this more? And we learn this in school. The problem with formal education, one of the problems, or it was for me anyway, thank God that chapter of my life is over, is that unlike a job, when you're done, at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock or whatever, you're done. In college, oh man, I really probably should study more for this exam. Oh no, I should do this over here instead. And so analysis paralysis is, in my mind, a psychological extension of that. Of, oh geez, it's just not done. Well, the mailer's not done yet. It's, and so I see this a lot with computer designers and programmers, because no computer program is ever going to be released bug-free. It just doesn't happen. How many updates do you do on Windows every single month?
Good point.
It's just not done yet. It'll never be done. Artists are like this. The painting's never done. If you're a true artist, somebody made you stop. I've heard animators say this too, like Disney animators say, in a little section that they're working on, the only reason that I released this is because they told me I had to be done with it.
I love this. What version of Jack are we on right now? Blank 0.0.
19.0.
Oh. I thought you were going to say one for every year.
Oh, yeah.
Let's make it
58.0.
How about, hi, you know what we're on, Jill? This is Jill 102.0.
No, it's over. Statistical obsession.
Oh, it's over? Oh, this is as good as it's going to get? Oh,
yeah. Actually, I'm going backwards.
Wait. Are you here? Wait, time out. Are you telling me I get to expect no updates of any kind?
No improvements.
For the rest of my life with you? There
won't be, I'll tell you this, no improvements at work, but socially there will be.
Okay,
we'll have improvements.
Jeez, this would be bad. Coming home and saying, baby, this is it. This is as good as it's going to get. Today is the height of my everything.
I've been saying that since I met you.
Just so you know.
She just refused to believe it.
It is really downhill for me. I mean, really downhill from here. You just can expect this. See this body? It's all all gonna fall apart more than it already has. I've just stopped caring.
Most women, this is man plan right now.
I know.
Most women
And I'm
believe,
gonna eat whatever I damn want.
most women believe they can improve their man, even if they're, in their 80s.
Well,
Oh, he's going to be fine tomorrow.
Wow.
He's an idiot today. He's going to be fine tomorrow.
that is kind of true.
And this is what I'm going to
We
do to
see
make sure.
potential.
I'm going to do this, and this to make sure he's better tomorrow.
Every day we see potential in our man.
It's hopeless, ladies. It's totally
There
hopeless.
we go.
Statistical obsession is worse
Okay.
than analysis paralysis, because I've noticed that people ask the same questions over and over and over again until they get the right answer. And then they ask a different question over and over and over again until they get the answer that they want. And then it continues and continues and continues. The opposite of that is Jill. Jill says, let's send a bunch of freaking mail out and see what happens.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, I'm going to make something happen.
Oh.
We'll buy some property. Trust
Watch
me.
me.
You send out 15,000 mailers at 20%, we're going to buy some dirt. She takes it on. A person that's got statistical obsession is going to say, "Oh, I'm going to send out 15,000 mailers and I'm going to buy 3 properties, and if I don't, I'm going to break down and have a nervous breakdown because I only bought 2. I'm supposed to buy 3. It's a Rain Man thing." It's worse. It's worse than analysis paralysis. So you have to just prepare yourself. And it's not just land or real estate or anything. I think this is a personality thing.
Thank you for bringing this up. I think this is prevalent in our group because you know who you are, data people.
Yeah,
This is your thing,
that's right.
not my thing.
I think you put a lot of completely undue pressure on yourself. And I'm sure that this stops a lot of people from continuing on in their, whatever they're trying to pursue in their life, whatever, whether it's relationships or accumulating the wealth that that you are worthy of.
Well, do you think the people that in our group who are hung up on mailer yield are only because they want to do better than the next person? Oh.
I think they want to implement. It's a budget to actual that I talked about earlier.
Okay.
I think, Jack, you said it's every 5,000 units, and I got 8,500. I had to send out 8,000 units. I see this in Discord all the time.
Okay.
I had to send out 8,000 units instead of 5. I thought it was supposed to be 5. In fact, 3 years ago, you said it was 2,500. And so I don't know. After that, their personality scenario takes over. They either blame themselves, they blame me. But instead of in the end, there's something going on below the surface that is not allowing them to chill out and say, yeah, but I made $82,000, so my mailer yield's a little bit different than I thought. So what? It doesn't fit into that box that I'm so trying to chase. Or, worse is, I married this girl and she, her hair was long and now it's short, and that's it. Statistical obsession. You're just stuck.
Well,
It
okay.
makes you stuck.
Wow. Okay.
It makes you
I'm learning
stuck,
new information.
And it makes you it doesn't make you stuck. You stuck yourself by glomming onto a couple of statistics. Mailer yields is just an easy way to that's just scratching the surface. But you thought these 5 things were going to happen in a marriage, and none of them happened. These other things over here happened. That's the way life is.
Yeah.
You have to embrace the fact that it's all going to change 3 weeks from now. Geez, if you've ever had children, wow. You have to know that the kids that when they were 5 are different than when they're 15. And if you're trying to keep them 5, I've seen people try to do this. They want to keep them little.
Yep.
That's totally selfish.
I understand.
That's a condescending tone on the way down to make me stop.
No, I'm just gonna say, are you upset?
No.
Are you okay? All right.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I've had analysis paralysis, early in my career, really bad. But statistical obsession is you have to really look yourself in the mirror and chill out.
Hey, don't forget, you can reach us for questions and help just by texting 480-530-7383.
Join us next Wednesday for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. We're Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.